Yoon Suk Yeol, the American Pie, seeing the conservative who tried to suspend democracy and failed. CNN affiliated in South Korea YTN the moment South Korea's President Yoon Suk Yeol declared the emergency martial law. YTN. Seoul, South Korea CNN. Declaring martial law in a stable and boisterous democracy was the audacious gamble, and one that appeared to have backfired spectacularly for South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol. Now, the former prosecutor and conservative firebrand political career hangs by the thread, with the impeachment motion against him underway and the country's leader rapidly losing support even within his own ruling party. Dramatic scenes from South Korea on Tuesday night showed the military helicopters landing near the National Assembly in the capital, Seoul, soldiers breaking through windows to try and prevent the lawmakers from gathering and the protesters confronting riot police. But the operation was unsuccessful. TV stations and news media continued to report unhindered. People traveled freely and there were no mass arrests. When lawmakers voted to overturn Yoon Suk Yeol's surprise decree, security forces backed away. The helicopters fly after South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol declared martial law in Seoul, South Korea on December 4, 2024. In the days since the streets of Seoul have been busy with commuter traffic, there was a little extra security presence on the ground. Businesses and restaurants were open, and the country was functioning as normal. But the president's short-lived declaration of martial law still felt like an attack to the heart of the country's democracy. As they peacefully marched through Seoul this week, protesters expressed their revulsion at the move, describing Yoon Suk Yeol's actions to CNN as the betrayer and embarrassment, and demanded his resignation and arrest. At one rally in the capital on Wednesday, teacher Kyung-soo said Yoon Suk Yeol's attacks on his opponent, including calling them communist forces, were the behavior of the dictator and clearly clashed with the wishes of the people. Last year, Yoon Suk Yeol was serenading United States President Joe Biden with the rendition of American Pie by Don McLean at the White House state dinner and toasting their ironclad relationship. His extreme decision surprised even the U.S., which has the decade-old mutual defense treaty with South Korea, with one senior administration official telling CNN they were seriously concerned by what we are seeing develop. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reiterated that South Korea is one of our closest partners and allies, and said it was important to see this process play out peacefully and according to the Constitution and the rule of law. As the nation tries to understand why Yoon Suk Yeol chose the nuclear option of martial law, many are relieved that the fiasco may well be remembered as the week when democracy was threatened in South Korea, but ultimately survived. Soldiers tried to enter the National Assembly building in Seoul on December 4, 2024, after South Korea President Yoon Suk Yeol declared martial law. Who is Yoon Suk Yeol and what was he thinking? Yoon Suk Yeol, a political newcomer, took office in 2022 with the Conservative People Power Party, winning the presidential election by the margin of less than 1%. He had spent almost 30 years of the prosecutor leading high-profile investigations into corruption scandals that included the graft probe against the former president Park Geun-hye that led to her impeachment and landed her in prison. On the campaign trail, Yoon Suk Yeol appealed the country's growing anti-feminist movement and committed to abolish the Minister of Gender Equality and Family, which he claimed is unfair to men. And while his predecessor Moon Jae-in favored the dialogue with North Korea, Yoon Suk Yeol took a tougher stance, promising to bulk up the South military and even hinting he would launch the preemptive strike if he saw signs of the launch against Seoul. In office, Yoon Suk Yeol clashed fiercely with the opposition. Earlier this year, opposition parties overwhelmingly won elections, seen as the referendum on Yoon Suk Yeol's rule, and took control of the National Assembly. This left him a lame duck president prevented from moving forward on restoration to cut taxes and ease business regulations as his main rivals in the Democratic Party used the parliament to impeach key cabinet members and hold up a budget bill. It was this gridlock that Yoon Suk Yeol used to try and justify his fateful decree. In his speech declaring martial law Tuesday, he labeled the opposition's actions clear anti-state behavior aimed at inciting rebellion and reference threats posed by the North Korea's communist forces vowing to eliminate anti-state element. Former Foreign Minister Kyung Wa-kang told CNN the idea of communist sympathizers or anti-state agents scheming to overthrow the government is completely unrelated to anything I can see happening in this country. South Korea's new president Yoon Suk Yeol attended his inauguration ceremony at the National Assembly in Seoul, South Korea on May 10, 2022. While Yoon Suk Yeol had previously claimed to advocate for fairness and common sense as president, his words and actions reflect the dictators, said Park Sung-min, analyst at Min Consulting in Seoul. It seems like a political suicide, but Yoon Suk Yeol's eventual decision to resigned the decree shows he's not a man who is trying to seize power or create a second term or prolong his rule, said Sidney Saylor, senior advisor for the Centers of the Strategic and International Studies. From the ruling party's perspective, he's trying to get the ball moving. He probably thought he had much more support within the ruling party for his actions than he actually did. The designer handbag at the center of the controversy. Observers say Yoon Suk Yeol's decision to declare martial law may have been more self-serving. Since taking office, he has faced plummeting approval rating over economic issues and a series of scandals involving his wife and political appointment that prompted calls for him to resign. First Lady Kim Gun-hee was accused last year of accepting a $2,200 Christian Dior bag as a gift, a potential violation of anti-graft laws. A secretly filmed video that surfaced online purported to show Kim Gun-hee receiving a cloud blue Lady Dior pouch from the Korean American pastor. The First Lady is no stranger to controversy. Over the past few years, she has apologized for resume padding and has faced allegations ranging from the academy plagiarism to stock manipulation, which the presidential office has repeatedly denied it. South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol and his wife Kim Gun-hee arrived for the celebration to mark the 76th anniversary of Korea Armed Forces Day in Seongnam on October 1st, 2024. The main opposition Democratic Party accused the president of concealing suspicions surrounding his wife, and the mounting public backlash even caused a rift between Yoon Suk Yeol and the senior members of his party. Yoon Suk Yeol tends to act more on instinct than rationality, embodying a reckless, lonely hairy persona, said An Byung-jin, professor at the Global Academy for Future Civilizations at Kyunghee University. He perceived the current situation as the existential crisis, especially with attempts to impeach members of his cabinet, cut the budget, and push for special investigations against his wife. He believes that he is seriously concerned. What comes next for Yoon Suk Yeol? Yoon Suk Yeol said he recently began practicing golf in preparation for golf diplomacy with the U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, but his overreach on Tuesday leaves his position on the world stage and domestically seriously in doubt. Parliamentary wranglers have recently toppled the government elsewhere. This week in France, Prime Minister Michel Barnier was forced to resign in a no-confidence vote after his attempt to ram through part of his government annual budget. For some South Koreans, such as Pastor Kwak Dong-seok, Yoon Suk Yeol has worked to address economic issues and is correct in his claims of anti-state forces in the country. Martial law is often criticized as excessive, but in some cases it has been justified as a measure to prevent the establishment of the communist regime, said Kwak, who organized the regular conservative rallies and political activities. But others say Yoon Suk Yeol's decision shows how far removed he is from public sentiment. Korean democracy started late, but we made it by ourselves and are very proud of it, said the school principal Kim Hyun. Yoon Suk Yeol's attempt at martial law demonstrated that the present way of thinking doesn't match our society, she said. People attend the candlelight vigil condemning South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol's surprise declaration of martial law last night, which was reversed hours later, and to call for his resignation in Seoul, South Korea on December 4th, 2024. In the days since Yoon Suk Yeol's botched martial law attempt, extraordinary details have emerged of just how many senior figures, both within the political establishment and the military, were caught completely off guard. Opposition leader Lee Jae-myung told CNN he initially thought the announcement was the deepfake video when his wife showed it to him on the phone. On the other side of the political divide, Han Dong-hoon, the head of South Korea's ruling party, told CNN he learned about it from television. Han Dong-hoon was deeply critical of Yoon Suk Yeol's gambit, but avoided calling for his resignation or impeachment. However, on Friday morning, Han Dong-hoon appeared to signal a dramatic change in his thinking, saying he now felt it is necessary to suspend the president's constitutional powers after learning that Yoon Suk Yeol had allegedly attempted to use troops to arrest the key political figures under the pretext of them being anti-state forces. Meanwhile, the leader has been heard from Yoon Suk Yeol himself deepening the mystery about both his future and what led him what led him to make his martial law announcement in the first place. Lawmakers are expected to vote on the impeachment motion in the next 2 days, and police have launched the investigation into Yoon Suk Yeol and other top officials on treason allegations. Many believe the botch in the martial law and the subsequent democratic proceedings show that South Korean democracy is alive and well. Korean democracy has the awareness and capability to prevent any impulsive actions by the dictator, said Kwak Park from Min Consulting. Yoon Suk Yeol's actions appear to be a dramatic miscalculation that could cost him the presidency, as protesters in Seoul continue to press for his resignation. The people may have saved the democracy in South Korea this week, though months of political uncertainty lie ahead. CNN's Hannah Park, Eun Seo-jung, Jae Young, Rebecca White, Ivan Watton, Nectar Khan, Gawon Bae, Yoon Jong-seo, and Anthony Radford contributed reporting.